Hello, fellow Sick Girlies. Welcome to Sick Girl, the podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Singleton, and today we are going to talk about traveling with chronic illness. But first, we have to do our wellness check. I've been doing pretty well. I would say I'm in a little bit of a POTS flare because I have been not taking my salt as faithfully as I should. I sometimes go through these phases where I'm so fatigued from all the treatment I have to do that I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. And I don't know why, and I know it's bad, but I missed my salt for a couple days, so I'm starting to get back on that. I had my throat stretched a week and a half ago. I had it stretched because I was choking on everything. I did a bunch of tests. Turns out I aspirate on liquid. There's nothing structurally wrong with my throat, so they think it's more neurological. It could be a part of my dysautonomia. They don't really know. It's not MS. They go in and they take a balloon and they inflate it. For me, it was until it was 1.5 inches. Then they bring it back out, and the idea is that the throat should stay open. They don't know for how long. It could be a week, it could be a month. What I hate the most about having a procedure is when they tell you the recovery time, because it does not matter what they tell you. I don't ever fit into that box. So for me, they were like, it'll be 1 to 2 days roll around. And I'm like, I still hurt really bad. And then I start to think, well, what's wrong with me? Why aren't I healing well enough? And then I remember the doctors themselves have never had this procedure. So when they say 1 to 2 days, they don't really know. I think if they want to give a real time, then they should have to have the procedure themselves. But like I said, I want to talk about travel today. I love traveling. I always have. During COVID, obviously, I got really sick and I did a couple small trips here and there, but I was barely getting around my house. So it wasn't like I was in any state or mind frame to travel. It took me a really long time to feel like, oh, I can try this, or I'm well enough to be able to do a big trip. And so my mom and my dad and we did a Viking cruise through Europe. I know that river cruises are often associated with an older generation, and I understand why, because I was the youngest one by probably 40 years. Here's why I think river cruises are the best way to travel for chronic illness. One, you get there, you set up your stuff, you're done unpacking. I even had a foot bar shipped to the cruise because I need the sheets off my feet at night for my nerve damage. And so having that was set up, ready to go. Two is food. I have a lot of food allergies. I told them my food allergies at the beginning of the trip. Every night they came over, they made sure that it had none of my allergies. If I needed something different that wasn't on the menu, they would make that for me. Just the way it works, it forces you to pace, because in the morning you wake up, you get bused to the location of the day, you walk around, you see the sights, and then mid-afternoon they drive you back to the boat and you from then on are sailing. And the first few days I had the mindset of thinking, well, what am I wasting my time? Should I be walking around towns? Why am I on a boat right now wasting the day? And then, as always, I have to surrender to the actual situation and realize I don't have it in me to do a full day like that anymore. I could push myself to do it, and then I would have serious consequences. It was so nice to go out in the morning, come back. I could rest if I felt like I needed a nap. I could sit up on the balcony and watch the beautiful cities as we float by them. It was just a really great way for me to have the best of both worlds. I can be here, I can be doing it, but I also have the accessibility to pace myself. So I did Viking, can't say anything bad about it. I did a bigger trip a couple months ago. I went to Korea with my family. During the pandemic, I was really sick. I was really mentally not well, just because chronic illness takes such a toll on your mental health. And I needed an escape, and I somehow stumbled upon K-dramas. I don't know how they came up, but I started with Crash Landing on You, and that was it. That was I was hooked. So during the pandemic and during my worst parts of my chronic illness, I would watch K-dramas. It might sound stupid to some people, but for me, they were really healing. They were fun, they were interesting, and most importantly, it was an hour of time that I wasn't thinking about how sick I felt. Having that chunk of time to really just feel like I was normal-ish. So my mom surprised me with a K-drama tour of Korea in October. So her and me and my dad went, and it was amazing. The minute I landed in Korea, I felt this sense of calm. It's called Nuna Nuchi's tour. She was great. They take you to all these different filming sites, and they too were great about my food allergies. That tour specifically is a mix between seeing K-drama sites, seeing historical sites, and then also healing and being mindful. Throughout the week, we would go to this beautiful park and sit on the ground and meditate. One day we went up to this really big famous tower in Korea that I'm not going to be able to pronounce right. And we took walks up there, and you locked away something you just didn't want to carry anymore. So for me, it was like trying to be perfect and worried about what people think about me. The food, amazing. The pastries, probably better than anything I've ever had in Europe. That trip was harder for me because it was a lot of walking, and it was from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And at 8 p.m., I got to my hotel room, I laid on bed, and I fell asleep. And the biggest moments for me on this tour was we were at this site for Hometown Talk, and there's a boat at the top of this mountain. And it is 500 steps, I want to say, to the top. It was a ridiculous amount of steps. And if you had asked me 2 years ago if I could go, I would say absolutely not. Just go without me. I can't do it. But I did it, and I tried, and I got to the top, and I just started crying. First time in years, it felt like, wow, I can try to do hard things again. My body is getting better. And I think a lot of times, especially when you're chronically ill, you don't see the progress day to day because it just feels like another day. But having moments like that, I was like, I have come so far from not being able to get off the couch without passing out, to the work I've put in with my physical therapy, to finding the right doctors, doing the treatments. These 2 trips made traveling feel possible again. When you get sick, you watch your life slowly fade away, and the things you love to do, you can't do anymore. I have found that finding ways that I can get back to a similar feeling of normal has been really helpful. Traveling tips with POTS. I take a cane. I use a wheelchair if I need it. I drink tons of water. I always have snacks with me. I have candy with me. Fan if it starts to get too hot. So you have to plan meticulously because you might need things every day. I had a big purse with me every day. It was annoying as crap to walk around with, but I had all my medical stuff in there and I need. So prescription of the week is just to be kind to yourself. So thanks for listening.